Es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and well, Coons we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell the haters shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goals during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome back to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans, all you MLS fans, and all you international soccer fans. Everyone has a home here with us Cuneros. Today, we'll look at the Galaxy's last MLS game before the break that will take place for the League's Cup, a match way down in Texas against the Houston Dynamo on Friday, July 25th. That is sure to be hot, humid, and with a thunderstorm thrown in possibly for good measure. We'll take a look at the outside variables that could affect this game if the Galaxy can drown out those variables to put in a performance, get 3 points, and which Galaxy team will actually show up for this clash against the Dynamo. Plus, a collection of MLS stars has handedly outshone the Liga MX All-Stars in a good sign for the growth of this league. And speaking of this league, we'll hear from the commish, Don Garber, as well. All of that and more coming up on La Cuna Galaxiana. As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Jalon. You can find my written work at Extra Time Talk and the Sporting Tribune. And I'm here, so you know, ese yerno guapo, y ese gitano perdido, y ese papá de Natita también está aquí. Está aquí, y aquí les quiero saludar. Papá, preséntate.
Hola y buenas, right? I was just going to say, man, I am absolutely just going to say this out now. I am absolutely knackered, as they would say on the other side of the pond. Just a very, very long week. But hey, the game's going to come a little bit earlier this week. It's going to come a day earlier, and we're going to play on a Friday evening, Rob, which is, for some teams in MLS, only 2 days just after the All-Star game. Go figure, right? Figure that one out, schedule makers. So the less said about that, I think the better. Just some weirdness going on, like games on a Friday night. That's just like weird. But anyways, it gives us, the LA Galaxy soccer a little bit sooner than normal. And we'll see what this team can do tomorrow, man. It's funny that you mentioned the weather. I literally was checking. I was like, Is he pulling my leg, or is there actually thunderstorms? It does look like there are some scattered thunderstorms in the Houston area.
Why would I lie about that?
Around kickoff, because I had no idea that was the case. Of course, go figure. We're playing in Houston, in the middle of Texas, actually in the south of Texas, on a Friday night in July.
I bet. Last time there was a weather delay or anything with the weather, Galaxy came out and
Didn't we poop the bed in Austin? I just remember that weather delay.
No, not that one. This year, a couple games
that's
ago.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean that was a Galaxy loss. I mean they didn't look like they had energy. Greg spoke about it. Anyway, and that's what I'm talking about. There's some variables, and so they're not only going to have to overcome Houston, they're going to have to overcome possibly the weather.
Yeah, but I am happy about one thing. So shout out to La Selección Femenina de Española.
Bon Mati,
bro. Like I told you guys 2 years ago. I think we were on a pod. We weren't on YouTube yet. I told you guys to watch out for this player. Her name is Aitana Bonmati.
Where's she from? Where's she from though?
She's from San Pedro de Ribas, man. My wife's hometown.
Damn right.
Just a little trivia there, a little history, a little coincidence. But yeah, just awesome stuff. An amazing goal. Like those highlights were going off the last couple days on X, and we will have a rematch of the men's Euro final, Rob, from last year, which is España contra Inglaterra. Should be a spicy one. I think that's Sunday morning, I believe. 9 a.m. local. So should be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one. Yeah, well, shout out to La Furia. Go out and get that title, man. That'd be tremendous for your lady wife, the minister of finance. But yeah, man. You're right. Everything is kind of like pushed up one day here, galaxy wise. I mean, there was a press conference that happened on Wednesday that we'll go to with you guys in a little bit. And yeah, I mean, it just feels kind of off that the game's on Friday.
Yeah.
If it feels weird that it's not going to be like on a weekend. It's going to be like on a work day, and then it kind of doesn't feel that way when it's Wednesday, but somehow Friday it's I don't know. But anyway, we do want to thank y'all for being here in chat and listening to this episode, and always supporting this humble little pod the way you guys do. If you guys are listening on X or on Instagram, or doesn't matter how you listen, go ahead and jump over and hit that subscribe button. We do appreciate and really could use the help. Yeah, no, honestly, that's how this humble little pod keeps growing. It's all because of y'all. We are on the march to 700, right, Ananda? I mean, we're like what?
Sir. 660 away, man. Yeah, okay. 660, man. Like, we're almost there, guys. So again, if you haven't,
don't know what to do.
If you haven't hit the sub yet, just go ahead. Just do it now before you forget. Before you forget, or you could do it on your way out. Everyone listening to everyone listening to us in the future in another multiverse. Which, by the way, Baba, excited to see multiverse. Excited to see that new Fantastic Four movie. Right, kicks off MCU Phase 6, I guess.
Phase 6, man.
Yeah,
Phase 6. Yeah,
excited to see that one.
It looks pretty good. I really enjoyed Superman. Not now we're really not talking about Galaxy stuff. Really enjoyed Superman. So I mean, hopefully Fantastic Four is just as good. But anyway, back to it. Since this is a Galaxy pod, if you have any questions, if you have something burning to get off your chest, if you want to say something, go ahead and hit up those super chats. And Ananda, do you have any housekeeping left before we break on into announcements for the
well, just like the banner says in the bottom there, go ahead and smash those likes, guys, if you have not yet. As well. And of course, as I always say, you can always follow me, block me, or stalk me. Or if you just want to read some useless opinions from a knucklehead from a Galaxy podcast, you can always follow me at Ananda Galaxiana. And Rob, our tags are back today, so I figured that out. So there you go. Producer Ananda, hard at work. So our tags are there, guys, for everyone watching us on YouTube. Of course, you can follow us on all of our socials at La Cuna Galaxiana. And of course, Papa, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana, una prevista para este road game, man. We need a win. We need a road win. We need one. Just give me one. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I was about to say it would be the first. Momentous, right? Anyway, let's break into these announcements before I get yeah, we brought you guys to this one a couple different times, and it's worth repeating because when you buy a ticket for the Leagues Cup, 2 meals will be donated to those in need across North America. Do your part, pick up a ticket, feed some hungry folk, those that are less fortunate. Large watch party is happening on Friday for this match against Houston. They'll be at Boulevard Gastro Pub at 5:30 there in Compton. And then Ananda, this is the first time we're going to be doing something like this tomorrow as well. So Ananda and I are going to be joining our good friend Peyton on Talking Galaxies live watch along tomorrow at 5:30. So go ahead and head on over to Talking Galaxies YouTube channel and check out our raw, unfiltered reactions live in the moment, I guess.
Yeah, this will be fun.
I might get in trouble. Here.
This will be fun. You might want to keep yourself on mute half the time, Papa. But yeah, for sure, this should be fun. We're kind of testing this out, guys, because we've had this idea in mind for a while, especially for the road games. So really happy to partner up with Peyton. I just really enjoyed his soundbite, man, from last time. I was like, this looks so much fun. I'm going to join in. Let's see if Rob's down. So we're going to try it out. Let's see how it works. So join us tomorrow. Definitely subscribe to those guys, Talking Galaxy on YouTube, and seek us out tomorrow night if you want some entertainment, some live commentary.
I'm just straight gonna like get canceled by everybody. Like, oh man. Anyway, so this ought to be fun. I can't wait. Like I am excited, and thanks to Peyton for letting us tag along. So if you guys haven't as well, go ahead and head on over to Talking Galaxy and hit that sub. Galaxy Buzz, hit that sub. Shout out to all the boys that are involved with Talking Galaxy. And then guys, the Galaxy are throwing it back to 2005 for, well, now it's less than 24 hours, but I would hope that you have gotten the email this morning that for 24 hours only, you can get $20 tickets to the game against Seattle on August 10th. I think that's till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So if you are planning on going to this match, you can get a $20 ticket right now till 10 a.m. tomorrow. Also, Ananda, I don't know if you heard this or not, but the prices are going to be 2005 prices for concessions as well. So hot dogs are $4.50, sodas are $3.75, popcorn's $3, and churros are $4. Man, I mean, those are 2005 prices. I still say those are a little inflated personally, but also that night going down, they are giving away the 2005 replica championship ring. They only have 5 racks though, so I mean, get there early. I mean, they clearly say in like the email, just get there early. It says very clearly for early arrivers. So if you want to pick this one up, make sure and get there early. We already had one ring incident this year. Let us not have another. We are going through enough. So let's not add the ring thing to it, guys. Get there early if you want to get your rings, be in line, be queued up and stuff like that, and hopefully may the odds be forever in your favor. And really that favor wasn't in Liga MX's corner, Ananda, because they got taken out by the MLS All-Stars 3-1 in this one. I mean, traditionally you don't really see this. I mean, and they played well, might I add. And for once, you can go ahead and look at players that you normally wouldn't look at and get to appreciate them and their skill set. So, it was a really fun game. I caught, probably like 30 minutes of it, but what I saw, man, was really, really fun. And of course the result is great. I mean, goals from Sam Surridge, Ty Baribo, and Brian White. You see Denny Bouanga here pictured for the first time, in not LAFC colors, representing this league. So Galaxy fans, I don't know how you feel about this, but we'll also ask you how you feel about something else related to LAFC in a little bit as well. So hang on to your hats for that. But yeah, this first going on, I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, it really was just made by Bouanga. I mean, he picks the ball up or he gets the ball in midfield. I mean, kind of halfway between the box and the center circle, and drives on 3 defenders and gets a shot off, but it's parried away. He picks up the rebound, crosses into Surridge for basically the unmarked header, and it's 1-0. Diego Rossi played in Ty Baribo for the 2-0. It was, like I said, it was nice to see his skill set against the Galaxy. He scored a couple of headed goals, and in this one he picks up the ball in stride, and it's nice control to go ahead and finish that one for the 2-0. And the youngster Gilberto Mora, the Mexican starlet, honestly, 16 years old, Ananda. I don't know if you've been tracking this kid, but he's already playing for the senior national team, La Selección de Mexico, and he's been starring for that team, and he gets one back with a golazo for Liga MX for the 2-1. And in the last goal, just MLS is running rampant and gets a goal in transition. Diego Luna feeds Brian White after a really good transition build up play. And Brian White just has to kind of tap in for the 3-1. And, it was a great all-star game. But the narrative leading up to it and kind of even despite the result is about a couple players that didn't play. One specifically, Leo Messi, who, did not play even though he was named, and then it broke basically, hours before, day of, that he wasn't going to be available. And I don't know, it's brought up a lot of talking points about, whether he is the face of the league, whether, he can carry the league, whether he even wants to carry the league, if he wants to be the face of the league, and then as well, Jordi Alba was just like, hey, I'll go ahead and chill with my buddy. I mean, it really reminds me of like I said, on the Goals TV pod we were on the other day, shout out, that this is kind of like the Jordan and Charles Barkley thing at All-Star Weekend, where they would always take the fine and just say, F it, we're not going to go to media day. But these cats took it a step further and they were straight like, we're just not going to go to the game, right? So in the wake of all this, people had to at least answer the question, like, what happened, right? And it was Don Garber himself that came out and basically made begged off for Leo Messi, and he said Miami has had a schedule that is unlike any other team. Most of our teams have had a 10-day break. Miami hasn't. We had Leo playing 90 minutes in almost all the games that he's played. We have to manage through that as a league. At the same time, we do have rules as we have to manage through that as well. We would have loved to have Leo here. We should have known earlier. We should have addressed it earlier. I mean, Ananda, I'm just gonna kick it off to you, man. I mean, what's your reaction here? I mean, like he's taking the piss, right?
I mean, it's just like PR spin, right? And I feel like, I mean, I don't know if you were at that press conference, Rob, with Don Garber, virtually, but I feel like all these press conferences he has every All-Star games it's just a massive PR spin, right? We'll get into even some other facts or data in terms of, the Apple TV deal, et cetera. But I mean, look, I think both sides are taking the piss. I mean, Messi and Alba are like, I don't want to be there. So, we want to rest up and get
I'm not even mad at Messi and Alba. Like, this is like, this is Messi like behavior. Like, what? Like he's a fine player, so he's used to like, hey, do what I want, not the other way around. Yeah. And so, I'm not even mad at Messi or Alba. I mean, I do kind of feel like it is disrespectful to his All-Star teammates that were probably, like, hoping to play with them or whatever. But I mean, it really just comes down to the league at this point to dole out the appropriate punishment, which is, if you guys are following along, that rules do state that a player that chooses not to participate in All-Star Weekend, without an approved medical reason, is subject to a 1-game suspension. When Zlatan was with the Galaxy, he straight up said, I don't want to play on turf. It's in Atlanta. I'm not really trying to do that. I just had this knee surgically repaired. That's not really my life. And he got a 1-match ban, even though at lightweight was a medical reason because of his knee. So, but Messi's like,
and he owned up to it too. It's like, what a boss, man. But you know what? I was listening to Corner of the Galaxy yesterday. So, and Sophie was on. So shout out Josh and Sophie.
Shout out.
Always doing such a great job. But they made a really interesting point, Rob. And this is kind of where it makes, I'm kind of wrapping myself around this idea, and it makes a lot of sense, which is we talked about earlier. Does Messi want to be the face of the league? Or, I mean, he is the face of the league, but I guess the question is, how well is he doing that? Or what is his capacity, right, as the face of an entire league? And one thing that they were talking about, and that I 100% agree with, is you think about like just Messi as a character, as a person. Sophie used the words beautifully. He called him a very vanilla face of the league, or a very vanilla character. Like
he's not really exciting,
he
except
doesn't
on
really
the field.
well, he doesn't make himself available like to the media, for example. And when he does, it's all in Spanish, right? And they're few and far between. I feel like I remember the one that he did with Michele Giannone, if I'm not incorrect. And or if I'm not mistaken, but it's true, man. And you compare that to other figures like David Beckham, super charismatic, right? Zlatan, like he was a boss, right? Absolute G. Even guys like, Thierry Henry and some of those guys, like I feel like they understood the weight of this league and what it means, right? To sort of be the face of this league that's trying to develop and mature and grow. But I think in that capacity, I don't think Messi is that. Now the question that you can,
but he's never been that. He's never, like, even with Barcelona, he's never been that. He's like, he's been more reserved and laid back. Like he's the kind of player that plays by example, right? Like he just kind of leads by example. So when he's like, I'm just gonna che boludo, sigue, and like he's just gonna, hey, just follow me, do what I do, but on the pitch. But it really, like, he's never really been like that, and so to expect him to change now is kind of folly. So, like I said, I'm not even mad at him. It's more like, on people that were kind of putting these expectations on him. And then, like I said, the league really should dole out the appropriate punishment. I mean, but I was just kind of sitting here thinking about it. Like, is it really a punishment? Like, he's sitting there getting paid anyway, and he's like, I don't have to go to work today. Tight, chill with my dog, my kids, my wife. Why not? So, is it a punishment?
I mean, like you said, not really, right? He's still getting the bag. He's still getting paid. I mean, I don't think his sponsors maybe weren't as happy for him not being an MLS All-Star because of all the access and all the appearances, I guess. But again, I just don't think, like, the other thing I was going to say was, I don't know if it's fair for us to put that expectation on him, that to be the face of a league, like, and all the weight and all the responsibility that carries with it. I don't know if that's fair either. So, but it is what it is, right? He is clearly the best player in this league. He's clearly a guy that the fans, the league, everyone, all the stakeholders are putting stock in, that this guy is going to grow the league in such a fashion like what Beckham did in 2006, right? And again, in that respect, in terms of being the face of a franchise and being that charismatic, emblematic figure, he's not that. But is he spectacular in the pitch? 100%. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, you're just got to know who he is and what to expect from him. But does this kind of like feed into that perception that Inter Miami gets that preferential treatment? Like, if he doesn't get punished, if Jordi Alba doesn't get punished, what does that really say? Like, is there two sets of rules for teams here?
I think you just answered your own question.
Oh, okay. Rhetorical then. Right on. Well, since we were talking about the Don, let's stay with him here, because the MLS State of the Union happened, and this change in the league schedule has been talked about, has been hinted about, that it might come down to a vote, it might not come down to a vote, for the last couple of meetings, right? But the league board of governors did not officially vote on any changes, so let's just get that out of the way. Nothing really changed, but there are indications that a change is a coming. There are some hints. Paul Tenorio of The Athletic broke these changes, and they pretty much boil down to three main points: flipping the calendar to align the European to align to the European calendar. Garber finally gave his, I guess, endorsement of it. He said that the alignment is something that makes sense. It made sense a couple years ago as well, but neither here nor there. So that would mean reformatting the structure of the regular season and the playoffs. So yes, that means a playoff format change again. So those of you that were like, wow, 9 teams make the playoffs, and there's 3 games in the first round, and then just it changes every round. Like, yeah, well, it's gonna change again. So if you hated it, it's gonna change for the better. Probably not. We'll see. They're also going to review the entire roster strategy. So this is a huge one because they hope to modernize MLS roster rules with this one. And when I say they, I mean all of us. When I say they, the subtext is MLS should be modernizing it and listening to the people. But most likely they'll probably do something really, really weird and invent like another tier of GAM or TAM or RAM, because now there's 3. So I wonder what the next one is going to be. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned a couple seconds ago, like, all this was legitimate 2 years ago. So really, as Paul Tenorio states, what is the holdup here? And he lets us in on this, that really the union, which is the players is advocate, is kind of in the way of this at the moment, not because they're doing it on purpose, but because there's an agreement in place already. Tenorio writes, the X factor is a collective bargaining agreement. In order to flip the calendar, MLS needs the MLS Players Association's approval. Overhauling the roster rules will also require a new agreement. The current CBA is set to expire on Jan 31, 28. If MLS is going to make these changes in 2027, it'll have to rework the deal earlier than expected. And I can tell you, no one is going to willingly go into like a union negotiation, right? So it's like, what do they do? Do they get together in good faith and say, okay, like, this is a special circumstance, this is going to benefit everybody, like what needs to happen here? Again, because it's MLS, I don't really think that's going to happen. So it remains to be seen how this is going to get implemented, when it's going to get implemented. Right now, we have made progress in that. Before, it was like, we're not sure that that's the right course of action, to, hey, yeah, we think that's a good idea. Now they need to get to, we think it's a good idea and we're going to implement it. Like the second we always say about the Galaxy, now they need to execute. So, Don Garber, you have our vote of approval here on La Cuna Galaxiana. I'm sure all the Cuneros are ecstatic with some of these changes. So we say, go ahead and go. You got the green light.
I mean, should have been done 2 years ago, right? Should have been done when Messi was coming into the league, right? To bend and flex and do all these things to conceivably grow the league. So I think we're 2 years too late. I guess it's never too late. But these should have came earlier, right? And the fact that we're still waiting for them. I mean, I know I don't understand. So I'm speaking out of turn in terms of, I don't know, like you said, what goes into sort of the collective bargaining process. I'm sure that's a whole its own bureaucratic process.
Oh,
there.
Definitely.
So, but that's the thing, right? But Rob, like, out of these changes, what's the one that, if you had one choice just out of the 3, which is the one that, if you were in that, in that board meeting or in that boardroom, and you had the gavel, and you could pick one, which is the one that you would implement right away?
Oh, easily the roster strategy rules, like how you construct them, and like, hopefully in a world where, again, MLS is hopefully investing heavily in fan research and what their thoughts are on this while they're going to make these changes. And hopefully they've really listened, that these limitations on the salary, on the rosters, how many people you can sign with GAM money, and when, and they got to be under 22, and all these different rules that are specific just to MLS go away, and they could just come to a common sense, like, hey, let's see what the standard is internationally, and try to go ahead and integrate into that, so that we can have a more robust transfer system, which is going to help the league develop, which is Don Garber's aim anyway. I mean, he's already said he wants to be a top 5 league. Well, what's going to help that is making the quality of the overall rosters better, and that really does mean overhauling the way rosters are constructed and the money that goes into them.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get it. I mean, hopefully they get rid of the DP format as well. I mean, I'm really just calling for an advocacy of let the boys play. Like, like let's take the gloves off. The owners that want to be ambitious, let them spend, and let them
Yeah.
spend like all the other teams in the world spend.
Yeah, that's going to be the fine balance, and that's what I think. I think realistically, how this happens is you do sort of incremental changes, but you implement them. I
Sure.
think at a faster pace. So, for example, Rob, even the cash for trades mechanism that was introduced this year, that's already helped. Like, we looked at just the case of Dejan Jovic, right? We brought that up when that trade came along. He would have been gone to Liga MX and got the bag there, but because of that, yeah, but because of that, those two players stayed in the league. So I think it's little things like that, maybe adding a fourth DP. It's basically mechanisms. If you look at the other top leagues in this country, NBA, NHL, etc., they do it in sort of an apron format. Like, they have first apron, second apron, hard cap, all that stuff. I think we need to adopt a version of it. I don't know if it's luxury taxes and things like that, but it's some sort of system, because the reality is this is still a closed system, right? So all the owners, to get their buy-in, they have to vote into something that will keep them in business, right? Because money talks, and money is the most important thing here, probably in this discussion. But have enough leeway and have enough sort of swim lanes where, like you said, the owners that want to spend, they're free to spend. They're free to spend another 10, 15 million on another really, really talented player, a fourth one, right? Instead of three. Just little tweaks like that. I think over time, I think we'll make things better. But it's not as easy as just ripping it up and like you said, like having to sign everyone. I think these things need to come, but in incremental phases and quickly, because I think the pace right now is it's too slow.
No, but I agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
understand when I say, like, hey, I'm advocating for this. Yeah, no, I agree. It should come incrementally, because if not, you're going to shock the entire system.
Yeah. Some really good comments in chat here, by the way. Just
read them off. Read them off, Mike.
Maybe Ant says a winter calendar could possibly be the dumbest move to do. Would realistically make the offseason a lot shorter between each season, unless they choose to force teams to play in freezing temperatures. Pottermus follows that up and says MLS stadiums are not equipped for a winter season. No undersoil heating. The stands not covered. That's one thing. Another thing to consider is viewership. Now you're going to compete against not only the four major leagues in this country, right? And you think about another great point that the Corner of the Galaxy made was, this is a regional sport, Rob. So now you're going to compete regionally, locally with your other sports teams in those major franchises, right, in the US. So that's one thing to consider, on top of competing for viewership for soccer overseas or football with the major European leagues, right? So those are things that we need to consider. So I think on top of the weather factor, I think that's one thing to consider. Maybe in terms of the salary roster structures, he talks about getting rid of GAM, get rid of TAM, loosen the cap by a lot. Parity has run its course. League just needs to grow, set a cap floor, and that's it.
Cool. I'm cool with the cap floor.
Yeah,
I'm cool with the cap floor for sure.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no, but you know what it is about that winter schedule as well, man, is that they sure can finagle a schedule to, have a team play away from home for like their first 10 games, right? So I'm sure something could be worked out where teams that usually would play in the freezing cold could, take their road games and in those match days. That's just one thing, right? But none of these stadiums have that undersoil. So when you're talking about making this change, you're also talking about infrastructure, right? So you're talking about every team basically buying into, all right, well, we need to make upgrades to our stadium. We need to invest this much to, fix our facilities because of playing during this time. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, not just what we've mentioned, the collective bargaining agreement. It's not just like, we're going to switch. There's so many dominoes here that need to be lined up and worked on. So while we are calling for these changes for sure. Like Ananda said, I mean, it's probably going to be one of those incremental things, because any other thing would be a shock to the system, because there's so many things at play here. But
Yep.
We did lightly mention, or you did lightly mention viewership, right? And it's interesting because Don Garber spoke about the viewership here. I mean, for the first year, or the first, period of the MLS and Apple partnership, they weren't disclosing these numbers, but apparently Don Garber was like, hey, it's a good moment to release the viewership files. So 120 unique viewers per match, according to the Don. Somebody did the math there online. They said 100K unique viewers per match, 15 matches per week. That's 1.8 million views a week. What do you think, Ananda? Is 1.8 million views a week respectable? What do you think?
I don't even know. I don't even know what to compare that to in terms of like what networks and like, I'm meaning like traditional cable networks. So I have no idea. I'm just going to be straight up with you. I have no idea, but I'm assuming that the Apple TV sort of platform and brand, in that it can be accessed globally, I think that's a win. So I would imagine that just the comparison between this and a traditional cable model, or even let's take it all the way back, Rob, a regional model, right? Like your Prime ticket, for example. I would imagine
that is way back,
right? Like I would imagine though that this is a huge advancement, but 1.8 million views a week. Like I said, I don't know what to compare that to, so I have no idea how I should read that stat.
Pottermus says if that's worldwide, that's pathetic. Yeah, I mean, I guess we would have to see what it stacks up like against, the leagues that are kind of in MLS here at the moment. Belgian league, maybe like the Eredivisie, like the Dutch league. What else would be an appropriate league? I think the Brazilian league is probably like a league too high up. And then Class Trend says, wonder how much it is without Miami in the fold on average.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, that's a really, really big one. That's one of those variables. And that just illustrates what we were talking about earlier with like all these different dominoes, right? Just one little domino, you take one team out of the equation and it alters a bunch of things, a bunch of viewership, and a bunch of things that the league can claim. So Don Garber says, we in Apple have been trying to figure it all out. I know it's frustrating for those who are looking for more information, but we in Apple believe we need to start sharing more information so that you can all start looking at it and what it really all means. We'll close with Don Garber on this one. We have been bringing you news about the LA Galaxy supporter protest, and that is due to ICE's presence in Los Angeles. Don Garber has made his thoughts known on the ICE protests and if the league was going to do anything. Obviously, there are different supporter groups protesting across the league there in Chicago as well, just among others. But Garber says it's a complicated issue for sure. And the question is, does the league have a role in protecting people? I don't know. If you're talking about Latinos, I don't know the league has the ability to serve as an entity to protect anyone. That being said, we want our stadiums to be and stay safe. We want to ensure that we're having the displays that are not going to incite anyone. The best way to do that is to have the policy we have, which prohibits having political signage or anything to do with legislative acts on display in our stadiums. I understand and sympathize with those that are impacted by this. I grew up in a very diverse environment, where a very diverse league, but we have to be very thoughtful about how we engage in the situation. Our teams, as LAFC has done, teams want to make a statement. They can. I don't think any team should be required to. Certainly, the league has not and will not make a statement on this. We just want to continue to do whatever we can to ensure that the games are safe for all our fans. So there it is. Don Garber has finally, come out and said that the league will not be making a statement, and don't expect one. But teams can if they want, and that they're not going to trip on it. So now the ball is in every individual team's court. But this is kind of something that we already knew because, again, LAFC already made a statement, right? Yeah. So anyway, just give you guys a quick update on MLS's official stance on the ICE protests going on across the league. Switching over to transfer news, Anandita. The transfer window is officially open. It has been open for a couple of hours. Not a ton of movement, but there are some things going on. The window is open till August 21st. And since it is transfer season, we were on Goals TV, and we got to take part in a transfer video with a bunch of fine lads. Not least among them Bromigos, but this was a fun time, man. And you were a brujo. You called that one there on the left, or you certainly brought that one up, and just we're starting to see some concrete movement on that one. So anyway, yeah, man, congratulations on being a wizard.
Oof. Well, I hope I'm not being a wizard. So let's just get into it, because this one kind of hurts, man. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, guys, it's I will put the description of the video, the link in the description of this video if you guys want to go check that out. Really, really interesting stuff. We talked about with the panel there. We were part of a 6-person panel and talked about just the teams that needed to make a move this offseason or in this transfer window. Some of the players in that we'd like to see, some of the players that need to leave MLS. Really, really fun show, man. So check that out. The link will be in the description, and we will also plug it on our socials. So, but we will talk about one of those moves. Unfortunately, I think for me.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's like, just you. It's really like an entire fan base potentially, right?
Yeah. Yep. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it.
Well, Paul Tenorio, back to Tenorio. Shout out, come on the show.
Doing work.
Yeah, doing work. Shout out, come on the show. Come on, you want to. Anyway, he says LAFC is pushing hard to sign Tottenham Hotspur star Son Heung-min in the summer window, according to multiple sources briefed on talks. No major progress as yet, but LAFC trying hard to get the South Korean superstar for 2025 and beyond. Fab, what up? Come on the show. You want to. LAFC have already presented their initial proposal to Heung-min Son as the new star of their project. Decision up to Son, as he will speak to Thomas Frank and clarify his future as soon as possible. Spurs will let Son decide about his next step. Nada, do you think Son is past it? Do you think he needs to leave Europe?
I think he needs to leave Tottenham. I think he needs to leave the Premier League. But does he need to leave to MLS? Perhaps. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few suitors for him. Maybe an Italian league, just where it's not as maybe physical or high intensity as the Premier League. I think he is past it if you think about the Premier League. But this MLS link is really interesting, Rob. And so I don't want to spill the beans too much. You guys can go ahead and check out sort of our conversation around this. But the one thing as I thought about, as I noodled on this a little bit further, I think I could go either way with this, and I think it depends on the circumstances. So one is, if he comes with Ange Postecoglou, boy,
2 for 1 special.
That's now going to be a really interesting proposition, because Ange plays a really, really attacking style of play, which, by the way, I think would be really exciting for MLS. As I said in that video, I would hate it. I would hate seeing it. I would, no joke, like no cap, I would be low-key jealous about it, because now it's like, you want to be entertained, right? As fans, like that's one of the things that you watch, that we all watch this game. We want to be entertained. And just watching that style of play, man, in this league with that type of a player, I think that would be huge. And again, I'm going to take my bias hat off for a second. Like, he would not flop like Giroud did, because Giroud just never fit their team. Giroud never fit their style of play. I knew that was going to flop from day one. Like, he just wasn't a good fit for that team. But if you look at Sonny on a counter-attacking style of team or a attacking team, now that's something that's super, super interesting. So again, I think that circumstances have to be right. Now, could you say that he would flop in this league, or maybe he would be a little bit of a bust? Could be if he plays on a, I don't know, like with a different style of play. Maybe he doesn't have that top speed anymore, because how he used to beat defenders, how he used to create space is that top speed in and behind. So maybe against some MLS fullbacks, especially like the super quick ones, maybe like even a guy like Antonio, like Alex Freeman, for example, like he would struggle against. But no, man, I think he would. I overall, I think in the right situation with an Ange Postecoglou, I think he would light up this league. Unfortunately, like I said, I would hate it. I'd be low key jealous.
Well, to hear my answer on this, go ahead and check out the Goals TV video. I get into it there, and you might be surprised about what I say. So go ahead and check it out. Like Ananda said, the link will be there in the description of this video. So check it out. And it's a good as time as ever, since we're talking about links and descriptions and all that kind of stuff, to say go ahead and hit that like, baby. Hit that subscribe, baby.
Yes,
Come on. You know what's up. Thank you so much. Thank you kindly if you do. And go ahead and put someone on. Your best friend, your Theo, your Tia.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say this is I just saw Joe 13 Cool pop in. This is an interesting. I wanted to bring this up, and I forgot. Thank you for reminding me, Joe 13 Cool. See, that's why we love you, chat. He says, Son is a better Bouanga who can also create an assist. This is the other thing. This is the other part of this, Rob. They both play left wing. So I guess if you're telling me Son plus Bouanga, I think that would make LAFC a really interesting proposition. But if you're saying Son in replacement of Bouanga, I don't know about that one. Because remember, those Club America rumors are still out there. As you always say to me, when there's smoke, there's got to be some fire, right? It's not going away, even though I think the Stash kind of refuted that a few days ago. But I mean, look, man, Denny Bouanga's been in this league for 3 years now. He's probably looking for that next challenge. He's 20. What do we say there? He was 27, 28. He's approaching his 30s.
Who?
I want to say Denny Bouanga.
Isn't he like 30?
20. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. He was approaching his 30s. I want to say he's like 29. I'm pretty sure he's looking for his last big payday or his last big move, and he's been with LAFC for like 3 seasons now. So, I mean, that's the other thing about this, right? Is like, how do you fit Bouanga and Son to the same team? 30. There you go. So, that is an interesting wrinkle to think about as well.
Well, he kind of lightweight addressed those rumors post El Tráfico, and he didn't really calm those rumors down. So, if anything, he kind of fed the flames on those rumors. So, hey, class trends. I mean, interesting. You brought up Mueller wouldn't be that good if he went to LFC. We actually spoke about Mueller in that video. Like I said,
check it out.
Y'all go ahead and check it out. It really was a good one. Full disclosure, I actually had to get off of that video early. And so there was supposed to be a segment that Jose told us about the player that shouldn't come to MLS. Did you guys end up doing that?
Yes.
Tell me who you did.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it, man. I'm gonna have actually. So I'll spoil it, but it was a part of a larger conversation. But I said Matt Turner. You'll have to watch out why.
Well, tell me if anybody said this one. Kevin De Bruyne.
No one said it. No one brought it up.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just, since class trend said Miller wouldn't be that good if he went to LAFC. I personally don't think that Kevin De Bruyne would do well in this league.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because he's not as mobile as he once was. I mean, there's so much travel in this league. I mean, he's been a little bit injured the past couple seasons. Plus, can you imagine him playing in Houston in the heat? I mean, his skin get all pasty and stuff like that. I mean, he would literally kill.
I think at best his production level will be at Marco Royce's right now. At best. So
which is still not bad. I mean, all right. But yeah, anyway, guys, check out that Goals TV video. And yeah, let's go ahead and start this Galaxy versus Houston match preview up, man. It is time, like Rafiki said to Simba. So the Galaxy continue their season by traveling to Houston, and they'll be at Shell Energy Stadium tomorrow, Friday, July 21st. This marks the 45th all-time meeting across all competitions between those two teams, with the Galaxy leading the series 18-14-12 against Houston. The Galaxy hold a 14-14-12 record in league play. They have met already one time this season. They played to a 1-1 draw at the Digs on April 12th. In 21 MLS regular season road matches played against Houston, the Galaxy hold an all-time record of 7-10-4. And in the last meeting between these two teams at Shell Energy, the Galaxy dropped the decision 2-1 against the Dynamo on October 19th, 2024. And 3 career matches played against Houston. Gabriel Peck has 2 goals and 1 assist. Oh boy, it'd be great if he could go ahead and break out of that as well. Ananda, you wanted to go ahead and touch on several different things here about this press conference here with El Profe Gregorio Vanni. Take us away, sir.
Well, one of the things that he said in the presser was this idea of just like, both by the way, Mo Cuevas is also in the presser. I think Alex Ruiz asked Greg the question of just sort of with, where they are in the standings and looking ahead, what's sort of their goal? Like, what's the mentality? What are the coaches preaching to the team? And, they always default to this answer. No, look, I don't blame them, but it's this idea of one game at a time, right? Like we've heard it so many times this season. And again, like I said, I don't expect anything less. I mean, when you're in this predicament points wise, when playoffs seems like such a far cry, like I don't blame them being in this mentality. But I guess I wanted to ask you and even the chat, Rob, like what, if you were the coaches, like I know that's kind of like an internal thing for them. And I understand it. They do have to focus on the next 90 minutes, but I mean, I think we've talked about this a little bit in this pod, but like what should be the Galaxy's mentality for the next season? If you were the coaches, what should be the focus? I mean, because playoffs at this moment just seems like such a far cry. It seems like you said, not impossible, but highly improbable, right?
I think Greg already kind of told us. I mean, he did say, we have specific point targets for this stretch of games, or like for these games, right? So they have specific goals in mind.
But that's Greg. What would you do if you were Greg?
I mean, if I were LA Galaxy manager right now, which Lord, why would they ever do that for sure? But no, at this point, like I said, you gotta try to take max points out of the games you have and end the season respectably, right? This hasn't been a great season, but you can end on a positive note, right? You can go ahead and end not only trying to get good results out of these games and trying to take max points out of these games, but you should be developing these young players that are going to be the bedrock of your future. You touched on Mo Cuevas a moment ago. You should be giving him a bunch of game time. Greg Vanni actually spoke about that and said that he already spoke to Mo Cuevas about him getting a lot more game time in the second half, which is not even really the second half, but like this last 9-game stretch coming out of Leagues Cup, right? And that Mo Cuevas would be getting a lot more game time because he needs to develop that last little bit before he's going to be trusted to take over that position. Mickey Yamane is, I believe, 32. So I believe next year he might be out of contract, or he's on an option. I don't know. Somebody fact check me on that one. I believe it's an option, but yeah, no, I mean there's got to be somebody to step up and take over. So you need to start developing, or like you said, I'm Greg Vanni in this instance, so I'm going to start developing these young players in the last 9 games of the season. Hopefully you get Ricky Puig back there as well. So you start integrating him back into the lineup, and you start seeing what this lineup could look like for next year. Obviously,
Yeah, I agree with you.
They probably have some targets already that they're thinking of. So you kind of put players by proxy, and they're like the player most likely to emulate that player's skill set is this player. Let's play that player here. Let's look at what the system could look like. But if it were me, really, you just gotta make the best of a bad situation at this point. And what that means is you got to take advantage of the dead rest of the season. If in fact, once they get mathematically eliminated, you got to be proactive about setting yourself up for 2026. Because let's face it, 2026 has to be a better year, or Galaxy fans are going to be calling for Greg Vanney's job again.
Yeah, I agree. No, I really like your point about the development piece, because as a team, I think we've talked about it a lot on this pod. It's trying to win a trophy, right? And I think Alex asked him, kind of insinuated that a little bit too in his question, and I think Greg touched on it. Now, of course, Leagues Cup is going to be tough because the games come thick and fast, right? And they're against tougher opposition.
Thursday, Sunday, Thursday.
Exactly. So it's going to be tough to manage that. But the good news is that we're at home. The Galaxy are at home. So that's the good news, right? But I'm glad you brought up the development piece, Rob, because if I'm Greg Vanney, this is something that he hasn't really talked about, something that I thought about, which is I think he's got to start. Then this is now like this is what Bruce was so good at, man management, right?
Right.
I think Greg's got to dangle some carrots in front of a few of these players. You think about the players that are the young players that you said that are fighting their way into their next MLS contract, maybe their next LA Galaxy contract. If they're out of contract this season, it's like, I'll give you some time, but definitely show me that you are maybe not even like up to standard for the Galaxy, but at least up to standard in this league, where maybe someone is going to pick you out or scout you, and that's going to transition you on to the next phase, right? And then you think about other players like some of these veterans, like even your DP players. Look, Gabriel Peck, if you do want to go to Europe, if that is going to be your next move, show me what you got this last half of the season, and I'm going to help develop you and mature you into that better player, into that seasoned player, to help you get that move that you want to get. So it'll be interesting, like man management wise, how does Greg manage? He's got to manage the team, obviously, in the team goals, but individually, I think there's something there. And you said it with the development of these young players, but not just them, some of these other players that are thinking about maybe their next move or their next phase of development as a player, right?
Oh, definitely. I think if you look at Joseph Paintsel and Gabriel Peck's form from this year to last year, obviously you see I don't even know if the word is regression, because they're still quality players. They just haven't produced as much as last year. So I guess that's the textbook definition of regression, I guess. But no, they're still good players, right? So you need to get somebody to bring that back out of them. And then, like you said, I mean, those two players are probably dreaming about a European move again, so they need to refine that form, and the Galaxy are going to be the beneficiaries of that if and when it happens. But yeah, let's go ahead and get more into this match here. Let's look at where these two teams stand going into it. After 24 matches, the Galaxy holds a 3-14-7 record, 28 goals for, a whopping 48 goals against, 16 points, 0.67 points per game, negative 20 goal differential, 15th in last place here for the Galaxy, 13 points back from 9th place San Jose. In their last 8 matches played, however, they hold a 3-2-3 record. More goals scored than shipped in that period, 15 for, 12 against. They have scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches, so they're starting to turn up their offensive production. And one of those reasons is Marco Reus. Since May 31st, he's logged 2 goals and 5 assists in 7 matches. And Mateus Nascimento, he is starting to take that starting striker position by the scruff of the neck, has 6 goal contributions in 8 matches. Did you hear that they gave him Peck's goal?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That's
so funny.
That's hilarious.
Poor Gabby.
Just like the assist that Nascimento had for Royce, right?
Exactly. Yeah, poor Gabby.
I mean, geez. So Houston, by contrast, after 24 matches, has a 7-11-6 record, 27 points, 1.3 points per game, 30 goals for, 39 goals against for a -9 goal differential. They are in 11th place, 2 places out of the playoff places. Their last match was a 1-1 draw with Philly at home. But before that, it was 2 straight losses, getting shut out, both of them. Lost 3-0 at home to Vancouver and lost 1-0 away to Real Salt Lake. Only 3 wins for them in their last 10 matches. They've conceded 5 goals in their last 3 games, but their 20 goals conceded in their last 10 is a 2.0 goals per average game, per game average. Ananda, El Capi will not be available for this match. It was confirmed that Maya Yoshida will be out with a thigh injury. Gabriel Peck is questionable at the moment, so it remains to be seen if he'll take part. But Houston is kind of hit as well. Andrew Tarbell continues to be injured. He was injured last time the Galaxy played. Eric Sievachenko, the center back, he has 10 matches played, 8 started. He will not be available as either. Good depth piece, occasional starter for Houston. Nelson Quinones, the long-term injury as well. And Franco Escobar will be missing through suspension. You mentioned way back at the top of the show that some of these teams were going to be playing with just 2 days rest. However, these 2 teams, 2 days rest because of the All-Star game. Right.
Correct.
I should finish that statement. 2 days rest because of the All-Star game. However, neither of these teams have an All-Star selection, so they don't have to worry about that. No short rest for these teams. Hence, maybe that's why they're playing on Friday. It's like, you guys didn't send anybody. Like, go ahead and just play on Friday. So, Ananda, what do you think about a starting lineup? Do you think Greg's going to go ahead and go with his, starting 11? Well, I guess with the available starting 11 that he's been kind of putting out.
Yeah, well, you just talked about Maya, right? So, I mean, I think unfortunately for Galaxy fans, Zonka's going to have to step in there. He's going to have to step into next to Amiro Garces.
Zabaleta, what?
Where is he? Like, is he? I mean, I see him on the bench. Like, is he even like being used? I mean, I see him like, getting ready in the sidelines at least the last home game at the Digs. But I don't know, man. But look, we know it's going to be Zonka, so I guess Galaxy fans just hope and pray that he pulls out a blinder and not the normal stinker that he's been pulling out recently. I think that having Mo Cuevas in that last presser, Rob, and Greg spoke glowingly about him. He talked about Mo in terms of his crossing ability, his running off the ball the last game that really helped his team. And Greg even said he's going to give Mo more chances, more opportunities, more minutes in the second half of the season. All he's got to do now is just develop that defensive side of the game. And instead of in spurts or just parts of the game, making good decisions over the 90 minutes. So what do you think, man? Do you think he's primed to get that start based off of Greg's comments? Is Greg foreshadowing that a little bit?
I mean, I think we've been maybe thinking about this wrong, right? Because the natural inclination would be to say, all right, so is he going to replace Mickey Yamane in the lineup, right? Does Mo Cuevas get the start? However, we know that Mickey Yamane is a great advancer of the ball. He does really, really good work. I don't see him being droppable for this Galaxy team. But Greg has talked about using Mickey Yamane in different ways, and he's talked about using Mo Cuevas in different ways as well. So I guess my question would be, what does he do? What does his inclusion do to the lineup or the formation here? Does Greg continue with this 4-3-3? Does he go to something else to go ahead and include Mo Cuevas and Mickey Yamane on the same side? Because Mickey Yamane likes to go ahead and get into the midfield and advance the ball that way. So it really remains to be seen how Greg is going to use him. And like I said, I just don't see Mickey Yamane being droppable for this team unless Greg is really going to take to heart, I'm going to develop Mo Cuevas over the next part of the season because I know that in 2026 I'm going to use him a lot.
Yeah, I think that is interesting. I think what may happen, like conventional wisdom would probably say if he does play, he's probably going to start over Mickey Yamane. But if you're saying that they're going to start on the same side, he might start Gabriel Peck, Mickey Yamane, go with the tried and true, but maybe hook Peck early because he needs that rest, whether it's for Leagues Cup or Greg did mention that Gabby was struggling. You said he was questionable, right? So he was struggling with something post match. So maybe he just hooks Gabby at 55, 60 minutes and then gives Mo Cuevas that run out and on that right wing, right? Spamming in crosses, maybe also putting in like a Christian Ramirez, maybe playing 4-4-2, Rob. Who knows? There's a lot of ways we can slice this. So I think that might be the way he goes. Just exhaust Gabby for the first 60. Hopefully we get a couple goals in that span and then bring on Cuevas.
You got to remember too that Leagues Cup starts less than a week later.
That's right.
I know Galaxy fans don't want to hear this, but in the year that is 2025 with Galaxy in the last place, they really should be playing for this trophy, especially because it's an avenue to the Champions League or Champions Cup or what do they call that? You know what I mean?
Campeones. Sorry, CONCACAF Champions League. You mean?
Yeah, CONCACAF Champions.
Got it.
Right. Yeah. So it's their ticket there, right? So since again, it's playoffs are improbable. Yeah, man, this is a trophy. The Campeones Cup is a trophy. Yeah. So they really should be going for both of these, right? So again, I didn't know that's not what Galaxy fans want to hear, but that's really the reality.
I don't know why, man. I have a sneaky suspicion he might start against Cholos, but not this match. But I could be wrong.
Mo?
Mo. Yeah, right back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it could be. And again, this is an opportunity to try different things here in these games. But also, stay kind of close to what your original tactical game plan is. Galaxy are going to be at home. So I mean it's these home matches are going to be great for them. They get a nice extended break at home after the traveling away to Houston. So, and really, I think Houston's like kind of the only away match. Well, LAFC was an away match, but it was still here at home. So I think Houston's the only away match that they would have to play. I think in like the last 4 or 5. So yeah, home comforts are always great. But take us through the stats that will dictate the win here.
Well, I just pulled up these stats for what kind of team Houston is. I mean, honestly, I haven't watched much of Houston this year. So I do remember how they've played us in the last couple seasons, though. And it's going to be really interesting to see. Again, this is a Ben Olsen team. They've had no coaching changes. So you look at these stats, man, offensively, I think they're really representative of where they are in the league, right? Which is 10th place in the West. I mean, if you look at the expected goals, in the bottom third of the league, 30.9. Shots on target per match, almost dead last in the league, Rob, 3.5. So they're not a lethal offensive team by any means, but they are still a Ben Olsen team in that they do have a lot of possession. They're like the Galaxy. So and hold on to that possession stat, because I think when you look at the defensive numbers, I'm going to combine those with the defensive numbers and how they quote unquote defend. Because defensively, they're not a bad team, Rob. And I think this is where this team probably are better at, is on the defensive end. If you look at their stats, clean sheets, Rob, they have third most in the league at 8 clean sheets. That's quite a bit, right? XG conceded, they're at the top, sort of towards the top third in the league, only 33.1 XG conceded, but they don't win the ball really high up the pitch that much at 3.4. So they're not necessarily a pressing team. They're not necessarily they have a pretty decent XG conceded, but they do let in a few chances, but they have a lot of clean sheets. So I look at those two stats on the right, the average possession and the possessions one final third per match. And my deduction is they're a very similar team to the Galaxy. They remember what Greg Vanney says about possession, which is for us, possession is a tool for our defending, right? Possession is how we defend in a way, because the other team can't score when you have the ball. And Houston plays a very similar type of game. So I think in this match, it'll be interesting. They're at home. Again, we're the away team. And it's always like this with Houston, which is what is the team that's going to assert their dominance the most? What is the team, or who is the team that is going to get most out of their possessions, most dangerous attacking positions, are going to get the most shots on goal, etc., are going to pepper the other team's keeper. And I think that's what we're going to have to look at in this match, because both teams have a very similar style. I think it was interesting too. Pottermus came up with a comment earlier. I got to go find it. But he says, like, or maybe it's Joe 13 Cool. He said, Houston is a weird team. They lost to Montreal and beat San Diego 2 weeks later. So it's kind
of inconsistent.
They're a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. So it'll be interesting what version of the Houston team that we'll see. But they're at home, right?
Just like Galaxy, though.
Exactly. But they're at home. So you've got to expect that they're going to perform at home. Again, they're a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde. But what we do know is they play a similar game to the Galaxy in a possession ball type of way. So it'll be interesting, man.
So what you're saying is we have no idea what kind of game we'll see, because we have no idea which of these two teams will actually show up, or if neither shows up, or if both of them shows up. Can you imagine if both of them just play their best soccer for on the day, and we see some fireworks in this one? All of a sudden MLS sickos are talking about, did you catch that Galaxy that 15th versus 11th place match the other day? Oh man.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's see who could influence this match for Houston. Jack McGlynn's is probably the big one here. 3 goals and 3 assists. A lot flows through him. Arthur goes ahead and protects him a little bit. He's created the most big chances for the Dynamo with 9, and he has the most shots on target with per match with almost 1. He's at 0.8 right now. Ezequiel Ponce, the main man there, leading the line, 7 goals and 1 assist. Griffin Dorsey, a lot of production from the right back. Maybe he's going to be some inspiration for Mo Cuevas, because that's a right back here in Dorsey that's producing 4 assists and 2 goals for Griffin Dorsey right now. But they're getting a lot of chances created from that side. 20 chances created just by Dorsey this season.
Wow.
Amin Bassi and Andre Gillinger have 4 goal contributions each. So look for, again, a lot of the ball to flow through McGlynn. Look for Archer to go ahead and kind of play that enforcer for him, so McGlynn can go ahead and create. But look for a lot of attacks down the wing as well. And
wow, our left-hand side needs to be on notice then. Julian Aude, Joseph Paintsil, whoever's on that left side, man, we've got to be on lockdown for sure.
Well, Nanda, you know how this works. We're gonna let chat know. Start dropping those game predictions. Go ahead and let us know who you think is going to win this match. Ananda's going to go first because I went first last time. But before we get there, we're going to go ahead and hit him up with this question first. For the Galaxy to win this match, they have to ... For the Galaxy to win this match, they have to ...
They have to bring the energy early and often. This is a road game, Rob, and the Galaxy need to have a fast start. When I think about the games earlier in the season, though we did not finish them, the team put themselves in a great position to at least have a chance of success in the game. I think about the game in Philadelphia. I think about the game away to San Diego. We punched them in the mouth first, and we punched them in the mouth early in the first half. And I think we have to do that in this game, because this team has showed me all season that they don't have the stamina really, at least on the road now, to come back and sort of fight back in those games, right? The most success we've had is we've been in winning position. So we've got to get in a winning position, I would say, early in the first half. And I think everything else will flow through there. I mean, that also implies that when we get our chances, we need to take advantage of them, right? Early and often. But I think more than anything, because of the elements that we just described, we're playing in Houston in the middle of July and possibly a rainy evening with scattered thunderstorms, right? So that's all the elements against you. So I think just the intensity level and the energy, because when the Galaxy don't do that, it doesn't end up good. It doesn't end up well, right? I think about that stinker that we laid in Colorado, for example. So I think we need to bring the energy. I think we need to bring the energy early and often to have any chance in this game.
See, that's funny because I'm kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum, but for a lot of the same reasons. For the Galaxy to win this match, they have to manage the game, be calm, cool, and composed. Right? You're absolutely right. The elements are going to be there against them, and for exactly that same reason, they have to conserve that energy, but they have to manage the game well. I mean, I'm not saying they have to go full shithousery like Austin did, but there's going to be an element of the Galaxy controlling this ball and dictating the tempo of this match for them to be successful. If they let Houston dictate this match, who is more depth in their climate, they're used to this climate, they're going to be able to dictate how quickly the Galaxy get tired. If the Galaxy can go ahead and manage the ball and manage to dictate the tempo of this match, they have a way better shot. So like I said, for a lot of the same reasons, I am completely opposite. I want them to manage this game, be careful and deliberate. But one thing you did say that I will agree on, take your chances. When you get them, you got to execute all day.
Yeah. I think we're both saying the same thing, just maybe in the way, the method about it is different. I think we're both saying this team's got to start off on the front foot. We've got to dictate the tempo of the game, right? And for me, I'm just saying that comes with energy and intensity. And that's not just like physical intensity. That's intensity with our passing, intensity with our movement, off the ball, on the ball, all that stuff, right? So I think we're saying the same thing, just in a slightly sort of different method. But me and Doc Rack have been
all day
in the lab cooking up the betting odds. So
I know Doc Rack.
So let me pull that up now. LA Galaxy 23.8% chance, Rob, of winning this game. Houston, they're the home team, 51.2% chance of winning there with a 25% draw. Projected goals 1.6 for Houston, 1 for the Galaxy. So again, it's kind of an over-under between 2.5 total goals, combined goals in this game. 23.8 isn't terrible, but again, this is Houston in the middle of July. I think there's a lot going against the Galaxy here, but boy, do we need that first road win.
The one and only, our good friend one and only Rocio says, the Galaxy needs to become a powerhouse, score first, and keep the momentum going. They also need to keep level-headed. So kind of a combo of what we were talking about. G's need to score early and test Bond often. Oh, snaps! That's actually a whole different thing that we haven't even talked about, Ananda.
That's right.
Is the reunion, right? So I mean, you got to test here. You got
6.6 spot my average. That's not great.
You have to test this keeper.
Test the keep.
You know about this keeper already. Bondi's a great guy, but you already know his tendencies. You already know his where he's strong. You already know where he's weak. Test the keeper.
Yep.
Please, for the love of Jesus, test the keeper. Anyway, Ananda, since I went first last time, that means
it's false, but I'll still go first.
No,
I'm gonna be the bigger person here. Let me just go first.
Okay, go ahead. I'm okay with that. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna cheat, but chat, you didn't help me out this time. Chat always goes first, so chat, go ahead and put your predictions in there. I didn't see one yet, but I am going to go. Man, I can go so many ways with this. You know what? Screw it, Rob. Heart pick today. 2-1 Galaxy.
No.
2-1 Galaxy.
No, valiendo.
2-1 Galaxy. We're gonna get our first road win of the season. I think we're gonna hold up, or we're gonna put up the players are gonna put their garlic cloves on their lockers. They're gonna do a seance, and we are going to pull out our first road win of the season. I think it's there for the taking, man. I really do. The only I say that the only pause or concern is I can see us letting up 2 or 3 goals if Zonka is starting at center back. That is my only reservation. That is my only pause or concern. But if we do not shoot ourselves in the foot, no mistakes. 2-1 Galaxy.
Well, we have a couple of predictions now. The one and only says Galaxy lose 2-1. Oh no. La Habra says 1-1 draw. Shout out La Habra. Joe 13 says 3-1. G's finally win away. Dang, I guess que me toca, right? I kind of want to just like say I beg off because like whenever I pick one thing, they just do the other thing. But based on the math doesn't lie, and it hasn't really lied all year. Based on what we've seen, I mean, I think that my heart pick would probably be a tie. But yeah, I think I might have to go with the one and only right here. It's either a 1-1 or the Galaxy dropped this one 2-1. And I hope to be wrong, but it is what it is.
Such a Scrooge. Anyways, let's wrap up the show. On that note,
not a Scrooge. Come on, man. I'm just real. Hey, really quick.
and on that bombshell.
Yeah, exactly. On that bombshell. Really quick, we got to re-mention the fact that we are going to be hanging out with the homies from Talking Galaxy for their live stream tomorrow at 5:30. So if you want to see me probably get canceled, go ahead and tune in. I was thinking about how it's been great having press accreditation. I probably won't not have it past tomorrow. So anyway, Mosca the Mafioso says 3-1 Houston. Hello, Mosca the Mafioso. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to catch us tomorrow with Talking Galaxy at 5:30 for the live watch along. And Ananda, anything else to add before we get on out of here?
Is there anything in chat that we need to? Nope. I think chat just want to say thank you again. Thank you for hanging out with us. Yeah, let's get that first road win, Papa, and catch us on the live watch along tomorrow. Oh man, it's you might have to put yourself on mute half the time, Papa. But
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. This should be fun. And of course, guys, catch us if you do want to catch that Goals TV episode. I will put it in the description of the of this video. And yeah, it's super fun video. MLS transfers, great panel. Check it out, and we will blast it on the socials as well tomorrow. But have a great night, and hopefully the G's get their first road win tomorrow. Vámonos, Galaxy. Vamos.
Yeah, hopefully they get their first win tomorrow. Next on this humble little pod, La Cuna Galaxiana, on Monday, July 28th, we'll bring you a Houston reaction for the match happening this weekend or tomorrow, and a mini Leagues Cup preview for the Tijuana game as the Galaxy embark on their first game of the Leagues Cup on Thursday, July 31st, and then a week from now on Thursday, the 31st, letting you guys know, obviously, no pod, because we'll be at the digs covering the Galaxy versus Tijuana. So no pod next Thursday, but there will be something special, most likely for afterwards. So we'll clue you in on Monday. For my co-host and myself, we want to thank you once again for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a gas as usual, and we'll catch you post Houston, where hopefully we'll be talking about a first Galaxy road win. Guys, we love you. Thank you for being here. You're the reason we do it. And we'll catch you on the flip. Only one thing left to say. G's up. Te quiero tanto, 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 tanto.
Tú y yo.